Yah is asking, how long is it going to take before the rulers of this present age yield to his will? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 2 of the Torah portion Bo. Let's continue now in Shemot, or Exodus chapter number 10, and pick up with verse 3, and we're going to try to cover several highlights in this chapter. Verse 3 says, And Moshe and Aaron came into Pharaoh and said to him, Thus said Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews. He is the Elohim of Israel, the Hebrew people. Till when shall you refuse to humble yourself before me? Here's an important phrase. Let my people go so that they serve me. Let my people go so that they serve me. We are being delivered in order to serve. Think about that. Our deliverance is not just a breaking of chains from the past or present, our addictions, our minds, whatever. It's not just a breaking of chains or the opening of prison doors for us, but it is the liberation that we need, the freedom that we need to be able to properly serve. Let's differentiate, if we may, between the gods of the ancient world, continuing into this present world, and Yahweh our Elohim. The idolatries that have been enslaving people for eons, the mindset behind them is that they need to be appeased. So when the plagues began to come upon the people of Mitzrayim, of Egypt, they may have perceived that it was not so much the hand of this Yahweh God of the Hebrews, but rather that their particular God that would be attached to whatever the plague was focusing on, that they were mad and that they needed to be appeased. And so when the water of the Nile and the water in their homes and the ponds, the rivers were all turned to blood, then the god or goddess that was associated with these waters, they would go to seek to appease them with some kind of offerings or rituals or incantations, maybe not recognizing that this is the finger of Yahweh. But make no mistake, when Moshe starts walking in on a consistent basis and saying to Pharaoh, if you don't turn Yahweh's people loose, this is what's going to happen. Pharaoh at least would know and understand this is not about my understanding of the gods being angry, but this is about this one particular God that I have no association with or familiarity with, and I don't know how to appease him. That's the problem. It's also a problem for us if we conduct our relationship with Yahweh or Elohim seeking to appease him, just trying to keep him from getting mad at us. We can't be allowing ourselves to fall into the trap of, I want to do or I don't want to do, and I would act that way, but I believe it'll make him mad. And if he gets mad, then things are going to go bad for me. We don't relate to him based upon circumstance or circumstantial outcomes. We're not trying to keep him happy with us so that he will like us enough to bless us and be good to us, knowing that if we ever make him mad at us, he's really going to come down hard and we're going to suffer the consequences. That's not what Yah is asking of us. Yah is asking us to obey him and to walk in his commands, not out of fear of retribution, but out of love. Yeshua simply says, if you love me, you will keep my commandments. A young child may determine that if I do certain things, mama gets mad and smacks my hand. At some point, though, that discipline should transfer into an understanding of Mom was just keeping me from doing harm to myself, or she was teaching me to trust her and the tone of her voice so that I not do something that would be a problem later on for me or harmful to me. The devotion and the love then is based on honor and respect toward that parent. Now, if parents are constantly abusive, yelling, screaming, thrashing, beating, knocking around, a child never is given a chance to learn the love part of that. But discipline appropriately applied and explained to a child helps them understand your parent loves you, and I'm trying to provide care for you. I'm setting meaningful boundaries for you, and it's all based on my love for you. And once that's understood, the love and the devotion begins to be returned. At least that's the way it's supposed to be. When it comes to our relationship with Yah, He has set the Torah as meaningful boundaries for us. He lovingly chastens us and disciplines us to enforce those boundaries that allow us to know going outside of them is destructive to us. Yah is seeking to deliver us in order that we might rightly, appropriately, and with the right emotional understanding serve Him out of love. Moshe says to Pharaoh, you need to let my people go. Well, who's going? Moshe says, we're going with our young or old, our sons, daughters, flocks, herds. We're all going to a festival for Yah. That's in verse 9. Pharaoh says, no, you just take the men and go because that's really what you want. Our adversaries would seek then to give us limitations on deliverance. You may be free, but up to a certain point. I'm going to tie enough strings to you to keep you tied to me. I can't afford to cut you completely loose. Yah opens wide our cell doors. He completely breaks our chains. He completely obliterates that which is holding us in slavery. As we continue to read, we see then that locusts come and devour every green thing left in Mitzrayim or in Egypt. I find it very interesting then that the reason that Israel is in Mitzrayim to begin with was because of famine. At this point, we see then that the livestock has been destroyed, the waters have been destroyed so that the fish are not available to them. The hail has come and broken down the barley and the flax in the field, and now when the wheat and the spelt are growing, here come the locusts and they devour them, plus all the fruit and vegetation on the trees, and there's nothing green left. In other words, the food supply that Israel came to benefit from is now destroyed, and is there any reason for them to stay? So Yah was not only breaking down the substructure and food supply of Mitzrayim, He was also destroying any valid reason for Israel to remain within those borders. Let's bring this into our American history. People came from various countries, in Europe in particular, seeking religious freedom, the liberty to worship their Creator as they understood Him, and to do so without penalty or imprisonment. Will Yah then follow this pattern and destroy that liberty and that freedom so that we come to a place of understanding, maybe I don't have a reason to stay? We should be thankful and worship Yah for our religious freedom and liberties that we still enjoy at this point. But we also understand and know that there are systems that seek to brand us, limit us, accuse us, slander us, prevent us from assembly, all in an attempt, described otherwise. But the subtle thing behind the scenes is to limit our expressions of worship and personal freedom and liberty to declare our Creator. It's time to keep an open mind toward Yah's dealings and pray. pray for deliverance, to be able to serve. We'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.